Here's Bismarck, North Dakota. It's our view from atop the state capitol building, overlooking the Missouri River. A busy day number one at the World Curling Championships here. Randy Ferbey's Canadian champions arrive at the Worlds as favorites again. Canada's team was the best of the best at the Brier, bar none. And here's the chance to be the best in the world. All four members of Austria's team will make their first ever appearance at the World Championships. So it's a tall order for Alois Kreidl and his foursome from the Kitzbühel Curling Club. Hi again, everyone. I'm John Wells along with Kathy Gauthier. We're ready for draw number 2 on a very busy 4-draw day here at the Worlds to open things up. The men take center stage here this afternoon. We have 2 Olympic champions in the field, Kathy, as well as the 2-time back-to-back Brier winner, Randy Ferbey from Alberta.
It is true, and we have a great field in the men's. The women a good field, but in the men's there are 3 or 4 teams that will be duking it out at the end of the week to see who will go home as the world champion. We talk a lot about Randy Ferbey, but it is in fact David Nedelin who throws that all-important last rock.
No shot bigger than this one in Calgary this year. Nedelin, right on the mark. That counts 4. And Alberta goes on to the victory over John Morris of Ontario. But when you look back to last year at the Worlds, Ferbey and company were here again last time. And what you have to think about is what happened to them last year and how they rebound from that.
Well, and I think the reason that they think about it is not because it was a learning process. They were the best team in the field last year. They should have won. Just one half shot by David, and all of a sudden it was done. They will be determined this year to be on the podium come Sunday.
So we will feature Canada in its first match as Randy Ferbey takes on Austria here on draw number 2 at the Bismarck World. Leader.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment. By Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Brier. And by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
And here's the field, 10 teams vying for the top prize in world curling. Canada, Norway, Scotland, and Switzerland among the favorites here in Bismarck as the men take to the ice for the first time. This is the Civic Center, home to the 2002 Ford Worlds in the capital of North Dakota, Bismarck. And the matchups for draw number 2 on the day. First for the men, it'll be Norway versus Denmark. That's Paul Trussen, the Olympic champion, against Ulrich Schmidt of Denmark. Patrick Hurleman, the Olympic champion from 1998 of Switzerland, against Scotland. Finland will take on Sweden on sheet C. The United States, Paul Postavar against Japan. And the feature match, Canada takes on Austria. Randy Ferbey's Canadian team set to go on sheet E. Canadians like the ice. Let's read it now with Kathy.
A big difference from when the curlers practiced yesterday to this morning's draw. In this spot, only about 1 foot of movement, if that. The spot where you will see the most movement, but we don't see a lot of play in the 4-rock, is to the corners, about 2.5 feet. That's if you're going from the inside out or the outside in. The curlers believe that they'll get the conditions back to yesterday, but you gotta wait for that break.
Grading the ice brought to you by Ford. And now let's meet the teams. For Austria, Werner Vonker is the lead. Andreas Unterberger the second, Stefan Salinger the third, and Alois Kreidl is the skip. Here's Canada's team. Marcel Rock the second. Scott Pfeiffer, an outstanding front end. Randy Ferbey will throw third stones, but he skips the team. David Nedelin will be firing the final rocks for Canada. And the Canadian colors will be yellow. Last rock belongs to Austria here as we're set to get the first men's competition underway. Kath?
Should be a great game for the Canadians. Of course, there's so much riding on this event. This particular team, I don't mean any Canadian team, they have carried that feeling of disappointment with them from last year. They didn't feel they were outplayed in the last game. They just didn't make the right shot at the right time. And it has been a long haul, and you never know in this sport if you'll ever get a chance to avenge that sort of a loss. They have been given that opportunity by having won back-to-back Briars. And intensity and determination will be two keys.
And as everyone knows, getting here to represent Canada is very difficult. So the chance to come back and do it 2 straight years at the Worlds is something very few teams really have the opportunity to do.
That is a truism.
Being very formal as we get underway here on our second draw of the day, second of 4. Ray Turnbull, Linda Moore, Vic Rutter will have draws 3 and 4 coming up later today. This is the only time this week at the Worlds there will be 4 draws on the schedule.
And they do that so that they wrap things up a little bit quicker in the week. Thursday is the end of the round robins, but rather than wait until Friday morning for tiebreakers, Thursday night is set aside to do that, and certainly we'll have those here on TSN for you should that be the case. Otherwise, they go right into the semifinal play on Friday.
Clean. No room. Lots of weight. No, clean. 8. Clean. Yep. 9, 10. Hard. Oh, we're by. Whoa. That's good. 7, 8. Whoa. One shot.
Let's check out the ice times brought to you by Karcher.
Nice, Marty.
No surprise on the times. Draw weight, we're looking at about 13.5. We time between the 2 hogs. That means about 14.5 for guards. This is a little bit slower than we have been seeing at our Briar or our Scott Tournament of Hearts play, but nonetheless, these teams will pick these things up very quickly, as we just saw. A great shot by Marcel. Good pair, actually. A nice tight guard, and then uses it to get around on his second one.
This Austrian team beat France in the Europeans in the 7 versus 8 game to qualify for the Worlds. Top 7 teams from the European Championships. Their Briar qualify for their country's Worlds, and the intervals look like this.
Some more times. The middle time there, 23 seconds, something that most people are very comfortable with, the hog line to the T line. And again, the numbers that you'll hear will range from about 2.9 to 3 seconds right now to getting in between 3s and 4s later on in the game. The ice did certainly get quicker in this morning's game, in which we saw Colleen Jones and her Team Canada squad beat a Swiss team to take that 1-0 record.
Canada's Scott Pfeiffer, 25 years old, lives in Sherwood Park, Alberta.
7, 8. Hard.
We had a chance to be introduced to their little baby that came 6 weeks early.
At the Briar, yes.
Wanting to make sure that his dad got to play in the Briar.
You want to go back? Marty, take back.
No, actually stop. It's stopping down pretty good.
Talking to the boys, the entire families have not made it down for the entire championship here in Bismarck, but you never know if
I know.
some of the children will join this Canadian team before the week's out.
Certainly all Canada so far. Randy Ferbey and his team going right after this Austrian team.
Yep.
Last Rock does belong to Austria in this first end.
Andreas Unterberger is 21. Two yellow stones are the Canadian rocks. 1 and 2.
Wait for it. 3, 2.
Saw the ice very, very straight this morning. We saw very little movement in the 4-foot circle. Ice maker certainly not wanting to have that continue. John Williams is the ice maker here this week and said that he would try to get him back up to where things were yesterday, which was 3.5 feet. We are already seeing more movement in these 4-foot lines than we did the entire first draw. That is a great sign for the curlers. Good guard.
Again.
Trying to run this stone back, he needs to remove this, and if during the process of doing that can get rid of one of those stones in the forefoot, that would be great.
Yep. This thing is up. Out.
Does he have what he was looking for?
He moved it a bit. By doing that, he did actually open up the front again, which is great. He left both Canadian stones in the house, but with last rock,
I don't mind you coming right here.
gave him a chance maybe to get to the forefoot.
No, I think just leave it open.
Well, a little more open, obviously, so that
in the ice, Scott?
may help before this end is complete.
Just a little less, Dave. 13.5.
Randy Ferbey in the hack for Canada.
13.5. Those are the ice times that we've talked about. That's the draw weight between the two hog
3,
lines.
2, 3.
Oh, just 4.
Line's good.
3. 4. 3. Just
Let him
3.
move. 4.
Oh, then, well, right off.
Right in.
Well, get ready. Yep.
Just 4.
Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's an overcurl. Whoa.
Good judgment call by the sweepers early on that this rock was not guarding but coming in, so you might as well take advantage of that. Over curling as well.
Fairly well placed behind some cover. Those red guards.
It's not bad, but by coming over that far, you can see there's certainly the way to get to that stone and get to the inside.
Stefan Salinger.
Yo. Hey. Get Joe. Get Joe. Hey. Out.
Opening is there.
Good shot, just to the inside a little bit, but not quite enough, certainly, for Randy Ferbey to remove the stone. He'd like to roll away from that. Doesn't want to leave that stone there and allow the Austrian team to get the roll first.
On the weight. Bumper down.
Bumper up. Bumper up.
Ferbey's final stone in the first
right
end.
off. Oh, nothing. Why?
Waiting on this all the way.
Close. No. Oh, I'm ready. Yep, a little bit. Nice shot.
Nicely done.
That's where he wanted to roll it.
Yeah, good about
I was originally thinking not to bury your first one because if he makes us roll, we had to run back. But you bury it and then we don't have to run back, eh?
Oh, I see, yeah.
He had this roll all day.
There's a ton of late finish here, eh?
Oh, yeah. You leave that just the 3 right in the open. Didn't matter what he did with this.
Talking about the late finish, Colleen Jones and her team will be shaking their heads already back at the hotel, wondering where this was this morning. But I think that they should take some great confidence from that this is back to when they practiced yesterday and that they really like the ice.
And a little roll.
Yeah.
Tucked nicely in.
Nice shot indeed. You can see the guards in front of the house. See
Ja,
about
det
half.
var det den ersten schon, aber da ist noch nicht so gesehen, aber da jetzt rein. Nicht dabei wischen, das nicht mehr glaubt, dass es Anfang ist.
Austria making an appearance in the men's world championship for the first time since 1984.
18 years has been a long time.
So definitely not a lot of history for Austrian curlers at this level in the world.
14 to T.
My grandmother was born in Austria, so do I count?
Well, I guess perhaps.
There you go.
I'm sort of on the Team Sweden side.
10.
Grandmother's from Malmo.
10. Whoa.
Off.
Whoa.
10.
Close. 9, 10.
Hard! Hard! Hard!
Working hard to get by that top one. Nicely done. Great sweeping.
Not much room, but Nedelin found a way.
Some great brushing. Ray coined the phrase huffing and puffing at the Briar, and these two gentlemen do work incredibly hard and never give up. Just get it by and out of play. Nicely done. Marcel Rock, Scott Pfeiffer, two of the best that there are. not only at throwing, but great judges of weight and perseverance. Unbelievable, and that's why you have to be in shape.
And so's the mic.
Well, Canada's record all time at the Worlds, just a
Wow.
little more significant than this Austrian record of 1-17 in 2 previous appearances.
And on this one win, let's see how good you are, Wellesley. What year was that?
Well, likely wasn't 84, right?
Okay, so 1983 is your guess. You're right. And that one win was a defeat over Italy.
Well, there you go.
But boy, they would like to improve that record.
All members of the Austrian team, as we talked about, are making their first appearance in the World Championship.
Second Andreas was only 3 when Austria was last here.
3 Yellowstones belonging to Canada. Austria has the last rock. So just 2 to come now.
Way out here, though. Man.
Or the other turn.
I don't know what that's going to do.
Okay, well, come out here.
We're
Take
3
it wide
right now.
Sit
That's what I have for Scott, that guard there.
Well,
You know what? Even if you come here, it's not bad. He's got to make a pretty tough double.
All right. Well, middle of the 12 foot or
Let's
what?
try to go here.
What? More?
I had here for Scott. I have this for Scott.
Yeah. All right.
I like that call better. Their initial thought is, do we bump up the stone that's in the
Get in
12
there
foot?
for 4 shots. It's great.
And not much point in doing that. If you get the stone in the
We
house
need
and
just a
also
piece
act
of
as a
eight
guard by
almost.
protecting those 2 stones right here, that's the better call, and that's what they've chosen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Come here, it's not bad either,
Speed out
Dave.
here, you think? Yeah, but if we come top 4, it's not the worst. Same speed out here, eh?
Should be close.
Dave Nedelin's final stone.
6.
First end.
Easy, easy.
Cut. It's got to move.
It's not moving at all.
Cut.
Come on.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's getting
We're right
better.
in
Whoa,
there,
by itself,
7.
by itself, by
Wow,
itself.
wow.
Ooh.
No need to touch this.
Didn't curl.
Good weight.
Explanation was it didn't curl. Didn't move.
Didn't want to curl?
I thought it might stay a little straighter, too.
David coming down there, there's a chance he's just got to come down and touch this stone back to be shot. Facing 4, though, in the first end. This is when you're glad you have last rock.
And I would think there's a little bit of pressure on the Austrian skip here. The shot is there, but he has to execute almost perfectly or face disaster in the opening end against Canada. Final stone.
Nix da, nix da, nix da, nix da. Keinen Strich. Keinen Strich, keinen Strich.
Cut.
Well, by the narrowest of margins, he's got it. So facing 4, Austria takes 1 and has the advantage on Canada, but Canada has the last rock heading to the second end.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you in part by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience. By JVC, excite your senses. And by Whirlpool Home Appliances, proudly supporting extraordinary Canadian women athletes and everyday champions across the country.
Inside the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota, the 2002 Ford World Curling Championships. Austria has the lead on Canada after taking 1 in the first end.
An end that Canada really was in great shape the whole end. The only difference there was that David's last rock was a little bit heavy, didn't curl, and that gave the Austrians a chance to get in, and full credit to Alois. He made the shot. That long guard is the first stone thrown by the Austrian team, and no mistakes, Marcel Rock placing that stone as we have become very used to seeing it at the top of the forefoot.
And again, this is the 4-rock rule, the international curling rule used at World Championships, and of course, as we saw in Salt Lake at the Olympics.
It is, and there's 3 big things that you will notice out here. The first is that we are playing with the 4-rock rule, which means that no opponent stones can be removed until the 4th stone comes to rest. I'm talking about rocks that are in the free guard zone in front of the house. The difference in Canada, besides the 3-rock, is also that you can't remove any stones. Here you can remove your own, you just can't remove your opponent's. The second one is it is a 75-minute running clock. In Canada, we play 73 minutes with 2 one-minute timeouts. Net, it should be the same, but it is different. You don't have that stop and play and the wait for your coach. The clock just keeps ticking here, and the coaches aren't called out in the middle of the game. And the final thing that you really will see the difference is the sweeping. On this particular stone in Canada, either of these players could sweep the stone behind the tee line. Here, the only person that sweeps behind the tee line is the skip or the person who is acting as the skip in the house at that time.
2 yellow rocks belonging to Canada in the house. And Kreidl of Austria looks at his options here.
He's in trouble early, that long first guard. He wanted a center guard, not necessarily that long, and then the second shot being another long guard. That countered with Marcel making 2 great draws has really put the Austrians in trouble very early in the second end.
And Canada has the hammer, last rock here in 2.
Ja, please. Please. Aus. Mach mal auf, ist ja gleich.
Just ticks the guard.
Sheet D second end, the United States against Japan. That's Paul Pastavar against Hiroki Kashiwagi.
A little tight.
Your pronunciation, you're doing really good.
Well,
you just are so tentative. Go for it.
3, 4.
It's day 1, and there's a couple for the Americans. 2-0.
No, lines go.
It's in anyways.
No, we're not.
You do not give yourself enough credit.
Well, I'm a little worried about Finland when we get to that up.
There are a lot of alphabets in that name.
Normals.
Well, it's got just about every letter of the alphabet in the Finnish skip's name. But the biggest problem is too many vowels.
Austria trying to run that tight guard straight back and maybe take out one of the other Canadian stones with it. Gets the guard, nothing else.
2 Canadian yellows left there by Andreas Unterberger.
For the Canadian team in a game like this where you know that your opponent, we saw the statistics, 337 wins or something like that for Canada versus 1 for Austria. You know that your opponent does not have the experience at this kind of a competition. They don't have the kind of competition the Canadians regularly can play against. This is a game about patience for the Canadian. It is about throwing the rock while sticking to your game plan, not trying to change things up a whole bunch because you think you're maybe stronger than your opponent. And these are things that I think that Randy Ferbey, with all of his experience, does extremely well.
Stefan Salinger for Austria.
Yo! Face! Face! Get you! Face!
Well, he got some movement, and 2 yellows disappear.
Nicely done.
Five sheets in use here at the Worlds on 8. Denmark leading Norway. Scotland has a 2-0 lead on Switzerland. Finland, Sweden. scoreless so far, at least zeros up. The United States
5.
leading Japan, as we showed you a moment ago, 2-0.
Oh, then. Oh, where is it?
6. Clean. 5.
Oh, let it go. Oh.
You ready?
Oh, let it curl a bit. No, let it curl. No. Hot. Small bump? Can you bump? Oh, we're leaving it double. Try and bump a little bit. All right.
Was hoping to either be shorter or to bump it back. You can see the way that those rocks are positioned, that should the Austrian team hit that rock on the nose or even a little bit on the outside, both would go. Lots of extra movement with the hand in the release of the stone. We usually like to see the least amount of movement. The odds of you not playing with the stone or doing things with it are much higher if it's kept very simple.
One yellow removed. The shooter disappears as well.
Bisschen länger gehen, gell?
Ja, länger eigentlich nicht.
Oder?
Ja, ins Knie aus.
Ja,
ja. Ja, ich finde das okay, immer länger drin, hat gepasst.
Like coming around.
Braucht echt die Kraft, das war das.
I'll throw the same thing. What do you think?
Just go around here.
Yeah, that's.
Canada's third.
I don't mind this one.
Randy Ferbey
A little bit more.
in the hack, at least throwing third stones.
Put her in.
Last World Curling Championships held in the United States were in 1989 at Milwaukee, and Randy Ferbey was on the winning team there.
Line's good. 8. Room.
Clean.
Whoa.
6.
Line's good. Whoa, room. Yep.
So Ferbey does have a world championship under his belt.
Whoa. Whoa. 8, 9.
Playing for Pat
Go all the way
Ryan.
back.
Yeah, don't leave a double. Don't leave a double.
You gotta take it.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay.
Front end, just reminding David, he's the only one that can sweep back there. Didn't want to leave it high and allow the Austrian team to get off the hook lightly by making a double.
You're wearing an illegal shirt.
Hmm?
You're wearing an illegal shirt.
Am I? Why? Is that what they said?
It's supposed to be a crest in the front, too.
Is that what they said?
No, it's just everybody else has got two illegal shirts.
Actually, I'm too hot in it anyways.
So this is still your rock, right?
Yeah.
So I guess he's been told that that's not quite the uniform that was handed out. And he's missing a crest.
Ja! Space, space, space! Geht schon ganz weg! Space, 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 ganz weg, ganz weg, ganz weg! Geht aus!
Gets one and a little bit of a roll.
I think even Easy's going to get to it.
How's this look?
Good.
Easy down. Don't overthrow it.
All right.
Last rock belongs to Canada here in the
Now
second.
you're gonna go here, here.
Where do you want to roll? That way?
Well, this way, prefer, sure.
You can see from this angle that from the hack that David will be sitting and he'll be able to see at least half, if not 3/4. Those guards are very high.
From Marty's side.
Okay.
So just be throwing the kind of
Bumper,
weight,
easy.
a little bit
Probably
more.
closer to Easy.
Easy.
I think it's
Go.
curl quite a bit.
Okay.
Here's David Nedelin, born in Winnipeg. Has been together with this Randy Ferbey team for 4 years out of the Otwell Curling Club in Edmonton.
Whoa!
Front end does the job.
Takes off. That's it? I don't think it goes too bad.
Puff on the left, that's Puff on the right, I do believe.
I don't know that either wants to be Puff. I think I'd rather be Huff, but they do this very well.
Okay, for a bit.
Actually,
Lots of other sweepers that rock would have ticked.
I think it curls quite a bit there.
All the Japanese here and Koreans. Used to be the same 10 teams over and over and over.
That's right.
I am corrected here. Marcel Rock is huffing. And Scott Pfeiffer is puffing.
There you go. Work with me.
Länge gut, oder?
Kürzer ist er.
Ja, ja. Aus, aus. Ja, ja. Fist, fist. Aus. Fist. Get your fist.
Get the
Well,
inside
nice
roll.
Onto the logo.
He's certainly taking the pressure well. There is a chance for David, no question, to score 2, but that is a very nice shot.
Half a rock with 11.
Little doubt that this Austrian team has scrambled a little bit, but they have made some shots to hang in here.
Alois faced 4 last end, made the last shot. Here he faced 2 Canadian stones, makes the hit and roll, makes it tougher for David. You can see half. Still has to make it for 2.
Okay.
Nedelin's delivery of the final stone.
Whoa. Clean.
Close.
Second
Whoa.
end.
Whoa. Whoa.
Nothing.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
You got to get
Off
on
it all the way.
Very straight in this spot.
A little shocking. Flat out miss. Steal for Austria. And when you look at this scoreboard from coast to coast, you may not believe it. It's 2-0 Austria leading Randy Ferbey's Canadian team. Welcome back to the Worlds at the Civic Center, Bismarck, North Dakota. Surprising score so far as we head to the third end. Austria with 1 in the first and a steal in the second and a miss by Nedelin.
And I'd like to just talk about that for 1 second, John, just to close the loop on that one. David, I didn't throw it badly at all. I mean, I watched his release. He threw it really well. He threw the kind of weight. He and the team talked a little bit about his second stone, that they felt that in the first end, when he was trying to play a guard, that it just didn't curl. It didn't run the path of the other ones. That was his second stone. It was his second stone he just threw that didn't curl. They had some questions about it, so they're going to switch the rocks around. Having said that, and I don't disagree with the decision to move it around, what we saw this morning is that the movement got bigger and bigger around the corners from the inside to the wings and very, very straight in that 4-foot line. So the fact that it didn't move wasn't a huge surprise. He didn't overthrow it, but he is not very happy with the fact that he hasn't made either of his seconds shots, and so they've moved the rocks around. He'll be throwing a different pair. Even if it's psychological, John, it's worth doing.
Well, and listening into the conversation between Ferbey and his team, they've really controlled those first 2 ends in spite of the fact that they gave up a point in each. So I don't think there's a great deal of concern as this team plays number 3 with the hammer again.
Whoa.
No, it's just about finishing off the end.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Oh, big. No miles.
Andreas Utzerberger is 21, lives in Kitzbühel.
Good.
Keeping the play out to the wings. Just a hit and stick here attempt for Scott.
Easy up. No. No.
Hey, Scott.
Nicely done.
Over on sheet B, Switzerland with an opportunity for a couple here, with Scotland leading 2-0. Patrick Hurlman the Olympic champion from 1998 for Switzerland. Warwick Smith, a former world champion for Scotland.
Playing with Hammy McMillan in those days. Successfully done.
So there's the deuce, even at 2.
Two very strong teams on that sheet this morning, afternoon, depending on from what part of the country you are joining us. Which is a piece, but not going to be enough to remove the Canadian stone from play. And this is why it's important that the Canadian team just be patient.
Right here.
Well, and there's certainly no panic down there by the Canadians. However, when you look at your opposition for the first day at the Worlds and you see it's Austria, and Austria hasn't been around this championship since 1984. Just mentally, you might have a thought in your mind that it might be a little easier to come away with a victory.
It is human nature, even though sports psychologists would tell you that it's really important that you have a game plan and that you take that same sort of approach to all teams. I think that it would be very rare for someone to come out with the same intensity against, say, an Austrian team that has had 1 win in 3 appearances versus one of the world champions or the Olympic champions.
Over on a third end with Denmark leading Norway 2-0. An opportunity here for Paul Trulson to cut into that 2-point advantage. Yellowstone removed. And what are the counters there? Just 1.
Just 1. Had the chance, if it curled a little bit more, he might have stuck around to score 2 and tie that game. By rolling out, does get a point, but only 1. Canadian team looking at the 2 options there. They had the choice of going to the wings or around the guard. They went around the guard. Another miscue, 2 consecutive ones by the team from Austria. Randy Ferbey now looking to play to the open side.
Canada lying 2.
What are you doing here?
All right.
Six. D-line.
Just clean.
Actually, even here, 5.
We're all, well, no, we're more.
Oh, okay. Coming down. 7. Just 5, guys. Easy. Just 5. Oh.
Go 2 back?
No, no. Leave it. Good throw.
There you go. House is split.
Huh?
This is a good call by the Austrian team. Needs to remove some of the Canadian stones. There's not a whole lot of double opportunities there, and so he's electing to hit the one out in the wings. Trying, of course, to make the roll to the inside to get behind the guard, and the Yellowstone that's in the 8-foot belonging to Canada.
Go! Face! Face! Out!
Makes the hit.
Super.
And the
It's
roll.
a decent little roll in behind that yellow Canadian rock.
Split ours. Yeah.
Yeah. Just move this over a bit here. Move this one to here. Sit here.
Yeah. Even tight to the guard's good.
So just throw a 7.
Less. We can touch the guard, Dave.
What?
We
Even
can
if
rub
we're
the
tight to
guard, too.
Yeah.
You can rub the guard, too, and roll in.
Well, yeah, but that's all right.
I just want to go by on the wide side, that's all.
Canada just trying to maneuver the rocks in play around a little bit, trying to tap that Yellowstone out of the way, find a path to get to the red stone that currently is shot and belongs to Austria.
Hurry. Hurry, hard.
Randy Ferbey throwing third stones.
Hard. Get it in.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Good option. In fact, that's a great shot, really, when you
Works
think
out,
about it.
doesn't it?
Well, it does, because not only does it get the Yellowstone in the house, but in my opinion,
Like taking the guard is fine.
No, I know, but what weight were you trying to throw?
79.
Oh.
I was just heavy.
Just to finish that thought, wanted to be able to hear what they were saying, is that they removed that guard, and that guard was an Austrian guard. Would have been really tough for them to make a play at it. So now for the team from Austria without last rock, try to protect that. Put that stone back where it was.
Shot stone belongs to Austria. Fully in the 4.
Der Brecher. Da wäre von dem Ding her bei der Skiwäsche, das ist bei der Langwäsche, bei der auf der Seite zu, jetzt hier aufrissen, das war nicht schön, wenn er echt drauf spinnen, aber ich sag bei der Länge, das muss Stefan schauen wir. Jetzt übernimmst du die Länge mal.
Austria leading Canada 2-0. That is a little surprising if you're just joining us and look at that scoreboard. 1 in the first, a steal in the second for the advantage, and we're playing the third end. Canada with a hammer here.
Schau du Richtung.
Ja, aus.
Sauf, jetzt zieh ich den um, gell?
Zieh das näher, wenn er weit geht noch. Ja, zieh es näher.
Aus. Aus.
Eicher.
Ja, das hilft. Ja, bis.
Bis.
Noch viel zu wenig Eis, hä? Noch viel zu wenig Eis.
Curled more than they had hoped, and this is the chance that Canada's been waiting for.
Wahnsinn, ja.
Ja, wir haben schon keinen Wärmen.
Count the yellow stones. Obviously, Austria was trying to guard the shot stone in the 4. That's open now. And an opportunity exists for a huge end for Canada as David Nedelin steps in to throw his first rock here in 3.
Would love to hit this rock right on the nose, drive it back onto the red stone belonging to Austria, remove it from play, and keep both his shooter and the rock that he's going to promote in the house. If he hits this right, Canada would lie 4 with only 1 Austrian stone to come.
First stone for David Nedelin of Team Canada.
Hard.
Gets rid of 1 red stone.
Oh, he's jumping.
Not quite what they were looking for. Opportunity missed.
That pick?
No.
I don't know, Dave. That was out there. You thought you threw that good?
Well, no, but I didn't think it picked.
Because it made a real big move there.
Yeah, I think it just curled.
Okay. I think we're sitting 3.
Yeah, we are.
Du treffen.
1, 2, 3. That's the way they see it.
Geht jemand zum
Ja,
Schluss ein bisschen, gell?
Schürch geht's nicht zu.
Now the final stone to come for the Austrian skip, Alois Kreidl.
Looking to clear multiple stones. He agrees with the Canadian team that it appears to be 3. Hits this a little bit, has to cross the rock. The rock that he's choosing to play on this one, the turn that he's playing, means that it has to over curl to remove more than 1. Made some big shots so far today.
Last stone in 3 for Austria.
Aus!
1 and just nudges that second yellow stone. So there it is. The opportunity for Canada.
So viel haben wir wenigstens den da, du. Das der noch dahin.
Well, he moved that other yellow stone far enough back that it's 4th shot.
Just easy.
For 2.
Ja, aber
And it might have been different. It's been the story for Canada in the game so far. There were lots of rocks in play in the first end. Austria made a nice shot to get 1, then stole in 2.
Okay, Dave.
Easy.
For his self-confidence, David needs to make this shot. First 2 ends, he's had chances on his last one and just not quite made them. Chance to tie this game and give himself some confidence.
Final stone, third end.
Clean.
Canada's David Nedelin.
How about?
A chance for 2.
Shot.
And there you go.
2.
Easy enough shots. Canada gets even. It's 2-2. Austria will have the hammer when we return for the fourth end here in Bismarck. Let's update the action on Sheet B. It's Switzerland versus Scotland. And a chance here for Warwick Smith.
Scotland known for making the great angles, the great hit weight.
And watch this. Squeezes one red stone out the back. And 2 more for Scotland to lead Switzerland 4-2. That's Patrick Hurleman of Switzerland against Warwick Smith of Scotland. Denmark leading Norway 2-1. They're playing 4. We showed you this. Score remains 4-2. Finland leading Sweden 2-0 there. The United States leading Japan 2-1. And that brings us back to our game. Austria, Canada tied at 2 in the 4th. A little surprising that the Canadians
7-8.
By itself.
Have played the way they have so far. It just in the sense that they haven't been as crisp as what we would have expected from this Canadian team.
Although I think the difference so far in this game is not the Canadian team as much as it is the skip from Austria, Alois Kreidl. In the first end, he was facing 4 Canadian stones, made a real good shot. In the second end, he made the great hit and roll, forced David to make a good shot. David just got either too much ice, too much weight, a bad rock, we don't know, or just flat out missed. Net. There was another point on the board for Austria. Even in the last end, trying to make the double close enough that he ticks the Canadian stone to 4th shot. All of a sudden, David Nedelin has a hit for 2 instead of 3 or 4. So the Canadians just have to keep doing the things that they're doing and believe that it's all going to happen, because there's been a lot of yellow rocks in play, and those yellow stones do belong to Canada.
Well, the Canadians have definitely had opportunities to score more points than they have on the board right now. Just the 2 in the 3rd end for Canada. Long way to go, however.
Just a 7, 7, 8.
7, 8.
What do you want, a 7?
7 or an 8.
Okay.
This is about positioning the stones, clustering them up in the forefoot, and then looking to move them around later. Canada, without last rock, would like to either take 1 or hold Austria 2-1.
7, 8. Clean, yep. Whoa. 8. Hard now, hard. Whoa.
You get it. You got it.
Enough.
Good shot.
Hard to tell exactly who is shot.
Is it that red stone slightly to the left? We'll check that out in a second. Denmark leading Norway in the 4th end over on sheet A. Paul Trulsen, the Olympic champion from Norway, against Ulrik Schmidt from Denmark. And here's the final stone for the Danish team. So Trulsen has been handed all he can handle so far. 2 yellow. 4-1 Denmark. Interesting game going on over there, so we'll watch that for you as well. And the Austrians continue making pretty nice shots.
They do indeed.
What do you think, Kath? Is that 2 red? 1 and 2?
For sure, it's 1.
I just pushed about 5 feet and picked up a pile of snow.
Hard to tell for sure for the Canadian team. What they want to do is get on top of that stone that currently is shot that belongs to Austria, and that's what Scott's been asked to do.
Room. Off. 6. No line at all here. It's getting better.
Starting to curl now.
Get it here. Hard enough.
There's the line.
That's very good.
Nice shot.
Come on, Scott.
Very nicely played by Canada's second, Scott Pfeiffer.
In the lead sweeps, did you see how he sweeps? His foot is totally turned over and he scratches the ice all the way down. Like I went and pushed about 5 feet and picked up a lot of snow, eh?
David telling Scott for the reason that what he wants him to do is make sure that the path is clean before David and Randy would throw, and being at the other end, the front end, one of the jobs is to make sure that the surface is as good as it can be.
Nimm doch mal mit der gleichen Länge.
To get here, figures maybe next time he can try to maneuver those stones around. It's the problem when you have last rock and the rocks start to cluster up in the forefoot. Often it's very difficult to either score more than one, or in this case, try to move that Canadian stone out of there.
Mehr Länge. Aus, weit. Weit.
First appearance by all members of this Austrian team, and the first appearance by the country of Austria since 1984. Hanging in against Canada, tied at 2.
You talked about the European Championships. What that is that in Europe, all of the countries will play off every year, and what happens is that their teams... I'll finish this after they talk.
He still
might be laying 2 guard, and then we throw an out-turn guard draw.
Yeah.
I guess.
Because right now you can't do anything with that.
Yeah, unless we play a bump on that one.
Not, well,
you know,
well, the only thing you could do is if you bump it and try and move this just a hair to line it up.
Yeah.
That's not the worst. Actually, I don't mind that, Randy. Because you're going to sit here anyways. You move this just
there,
a hair.
My rock's going to be there somewhere.
Try and rub this off to there.
You like that? Yeah.
Just a 7, 8.
I think there's more danger if we play with the other side. Eh?
Well, he makes the double there. We're kind of and glue. Yeah.
Just want to move those rocks around a little bit. Even though they lie shot, they'd like to create better angles for themselves. And just to finish the thought about the Europeans, what happens is for the teams that play, it does not guarantee that the performance of the individuals that are there will go on to the Worlds. What it does is it guarantees which countries will then come to the World Championships.
6, 5, 6.
Randy Ferbey's shots.
Gotta go. Yep. Hard.
No, we're good. 6,
Hold
7.
then, hold then.
Watching this carefully, a little tap on the yellow. And definitely that's 1-2 for Canada. Not completely closed off, however.
Well, no, I guess that middle one's going nowhere.
It's good. The play's red right now.
That's good. Then we can call it, bro.
Ja, bin gute Hauslänge. Herkommen musst.
The reason that Randy doesn't like the shot is if he hits this on this side.
Splits the yellows.
Now this is going to stick around somewhere. This rock will. You can see the ice that he's taking. It won't be with hit weight. He's electing to play just the tap onto the lid.
Yep.
Stefan Salinger.
Space. Get you.
He's got the easy kind of hackish weight.
Space. Get you. Space. Aus. Oh. Nix mehr.
Taps it through for a shot stone. There's an awful lot of yellow still around.
His mission is accomplished.
This red one he just threw.
What if we tap the back one that he just threw? The one on the button with the intern. I'm just...
Well, he'll still probably be shot.
Austria does have the hammer here in
Dave,
4.
even if we come off the top one and roll.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying the same thing, essentially. You don't like coming this way and freezing the pocket?
If we happen to hair this one here, we might get shot out of this, Dave.
I don't think so.
If we hair this?
Why, you mean push it this way?
Yeah, just push it. Yeah, right there.
No, I'm just saying we won't get shot, but you can do that. It's fine.
If you just touch that 5 rock, you're rolling right to where you want anyway.
You tip the top one there and roll in there.
All right.
Throw 9, 9, 10.
Yeah, 8, 9.
Even if we come off the top, it's not the worst, eh?
8, 9 is fine.
Because then he can come off the outside one. 8, 9, same kind of weight.
There's stuff right there, Scott.
On sheet
Right
C,
there.
it's Finland versus
This
Sweden, with Finland on top 2-0. Final stone for Sweden's Per Carlson. Chance for 2. On the red. And there's the deuce. So Sweden gets even with Finland's Markku Jussi Pavel Niemi.
No.
Good effort.
Whoa.
What do you mean effort? I thought that was right.
Pavel
Niemi.
Niemi at the end instead of Nemi, but nice work, Wellesley.
Okay.
Interesting cluster here.
It's got to freeze it.
They'd hope not to roll that far. That's the only concern with this stone, is that if they ticked on the outside or if they sat on top, they want it to be right
Yeah, the reason I like the outturn is because
but when it rolls away,
pocket, and then you got a chance to hit it, we could have.
It creates a chance.
Oh, we still can hit it.
For Austria to freeze it for 2.
You hit this, you come off that outside one right now, the double, off as red. You can hit that yellow one right on the nose too.
Randy Ferbey always thinking a couple of shots ahead.
Five rocks to come here in 4. Final stone for the Austrian third, Stefan Salinger.
Peace. Aus.
Okay, let's do.
Ja, geht er. Feest.
Waiting for it here. Will it get by the long yellow?
Du hast den nicht mehr drauf. Das ist jetzt schlecht. Aber den sehr da auf den Haufen drauf.
Interim
You
tap.
just sit a freeze there.
Yeah, you still can do that. You don't have to play this right
No.
now.
What do
That's
you
for
like?
sure. Doesn't matter. They're both. You tap that back. We're sitting 3, right?
No, we can't just tap this and sit 3. Tap it, sit 1, leave that shot.
Maybe 2.
If we just freeze right now, he has no shot. We can play that on the last one. If we play this now and just knows it or something, he welds one in there and we're dead.
So was I.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey?
Okay. Well, if you move it,
Double or
Well, that's fine
as long
too.
as you're here, yeah.
Yeah.
playing the double or freeze?
Just freeze for now. Leave the double for the last shot, I think.
this ain't bad, bro.
Over on sheet B, Switzerland trailing Scotland 4-2.
This ain't bad.
Here's the
Even if we tap,
opportunity
it's
the
okay.
Swiss have been waiting for.
The freeze, eh?
Patrick Hurleman,
You don't like this?
No.
who won the
Freeze
Olympic
it in
gold
there.
in Nagano in
I know, then he
'98.
freezes one in there and we're dead.
Canadians continue to discuss the options. Randy Ferbey's preference is to play the double at the back of the house. David's worried if he doesn't make it perfectly.
Count 2 there, Kath, and it's
7.
4-4.
7, 8.
Playing the freeze here on our feature game.
Rim?
8.
Rim?
Oh, it's got to finish.
Really tight games across the sheets here
8.
this afternoon. Shows how level and flat this field is.
Touching in here.
Canada's yellow.
Canada lies 3.
Without here in 4. Without last rock.
Big pocket.
It's like 3 from up above.
I think we should blast. Looking at it after we went, I think we should blast it. You couldn't even know wrong, I don't think, because even if you hit it thick, they're rolling in there.
1, 2, 3.
I'm going 3.
No argument.
I want to write this date and time right down right now.
Ja, schon.
This would be Saturday.
Das ist direkt Schutt, da spielt man durchstehen. Nein, das passt schon. Gib hin mit der links wieder. Gib mir das. Wie gesagt, gib hin mit
Well,
der
11 minutes after 1 Central
Wenn du
time.
nicht treffen, war schon geschienen.
No. 2-second shot. You can always hit that one there, though.
Which one?
That
Needs to get in here.
our yellow one.
Anywhere in this area.
Yeah. Well, that's
That
true,
would be
too.
perfect.
Especially if he stops right on the nose there and the second shot or something. Just gonna,
Yeah. Scored it in there.
that might be the shot.
Und nachher müssen wir neben Ski reinkommen lassen.
First of 2 to come from Alois Kreidl, the Austrian skip.
Ja!
Face! Nur Länge, nur Länge.
Stefan, halt.
Nur Länge.
Aus. Curl da.
Nur Länge.
Curl da.
Jetzt, ja. Face.
Does he have what he was looking for? Very well played.
Nice shot.
Right into the heart.
Keiner war gegen bei der anderen Stück gegangen war. Keiner war gegen bei der anderen Stück gegangen war. Jetzt hat man auf der Ball mit dem Ding nicht mehr verkehren.
No question about it, Kathy. He has made some shots.
He has made many shots so far, and we're only in 4.
Push that up.
Right on the nose.
Right here. Okay.
So suchen sich die Fuck. Echt der Wahnsinn. Nein, aber du magst da echt, da zuerst bist du auch noch ein
Ja, mit der Länge hat man bald überrascht gehabt.
Ja.
How many rocks aren't in play? None.
That's right.
Except
the
the
only
two
two,
are
they're guards. And
waiting
there's two
for
to
at the
come.
other end, but they're still in play. There are no rocks at the back of this house. On sheet E. Final stone, David Nedelin, Canada.
Needs to hit about half or a third. It's less, but I believe
Is that enough for the yellow to
might have
count?
been good enough for the shot.
The shot stone. One rock to come.
That if it hit that a little bit thinner, that red one on the D of the forward would have squirted out further. Canada would have laid 2, but still, I believe that they lie 1 right now.
Kann man nicht weg, gell, die zwei.
Wohl. Den steht der Kuspeln.
Geht das schon, gell?
Den steht der Kuh. Da drin. Na, wurscht, so viel geben.
Wurscht's denn da, gell?
Das wenigstens alle 2, vielleicht sogar alle 2.
2-2, Austria, Canada.
2 oder 3 auch schon.
Playing
wenn man
4.
Ski haben. Nur wir spielen
One
nicht
rock
so
to
da.
come.
Eher so.
From Alois Kreidl, the Austrian skip,
Du magst ihn eigentlich.
surveying a very crowded house.
Warum magst du ihn eigentlich?
Ja, innen bei mir
Ja,
kommen.
Yellowstone to Canada.
Fast halbwegs, gell?
Here's shot rock right now.
And here's what can happen. You hit this here. This goes here. Boom. Boom. 3. Very, very possibly 4. That's possible, too. And Randy Ferbey and David Nedelin see it as well.
We talked about the pressure on this Austrian skip in the first end. The fact that he's playing this Canadian team and facing 4 with his final shot, and wondered how he might handle that at that moment. Well, he made the shot, got his point, stole in the second end for a 2-0 lead. And Canada's team picked up 2 in the third end just to get even with Austria. This is not going to be an easy shot, but it's on its way. Last rock, 4th end.
Ja! Das! Ganze weg, ganze weg, ganze weg! Raus! Druck, Druck! Ah, geht immer.
Facing a yellow Canadian counter, and he misses what he was after.
Ik maak dat get den fout dan nog. Ik maak. Ik maak
Haven't
dit
said
den
yet
fout dan nog.
whether it's one yellow or not, but it looks like that is what is going to count. So Kreidl misses with his final shots. As Canada steals 1 for the 3-2 lead.
Ja, ja. Sure.
Hi, I'm Colleen Jones from Team Canada. Watch us today on TSN.
And later today, it is Canada-Sweden, 5:30 Eastern Time. It'll be 4:30 in this region, so that is to the north of here, which is Manitoba, your home province.
Indeed.
So Colleen Jones with a win this morning, and Sweden got a win as well.
Aus.
Canada beating Switzerland, Sweden over Korea. So the 2 front runners, or at least 2 of the front runners, will go head-to-head tonight, or at least this afternoon. And then there's one more drop And Randy Ferbey's Team Canada will also take on Sweden. The final draw today. Marcel Rock
teaches at Riverbend Junior High.
Now I understand that his wife Raylene is arriving in town.
Yep.
I heard the boys
Yep.
talking at the intermission, saying someone was headed to the airport to pick her up.
That's right.
Good throw.
Those two Canadian guards in a really good spot, nice and tight to the house. You don't have to be a teacher to be a lead, but in this particular game, they both are.
Working out well. These guys will be able to chat.
Yep.
Werner Vonker for Austria.
Aus. Ja, geht schon noch.
This team from Kitzbühel, probably better known for its downhill skiing. Trying to make a mark in the curling world as well.
Let's try this.
We're playing 5 in a close game with Canada on top 3-2.
It's getting the mini out.
Here's Scott Pfeiffer, a hydrogeologist.
7-8. Line's good. Where is it? Line only. Clean.
8,
9.
Rub. 7, 8,
Rub.
7.
Line's
8,
getting better.
8.
Whoa.
Still
We're
there.
by everything here. Whoop. In front of the
Wants
tee.
to be in front of the tee. Hear Randy talk about that. Some great guards, but don't want to be back there.
That's a shot. Good sweep. See that? Almost lost his handle or something. Good sweep, Brand.
Ausleg, Andy.
Andreas is an interior designer. Also lives in Kitzbühel, and you'll see that he is sporting the scarf out there today as part of his interior design. He has his exterior design.
Either that or he's been to the cowboy store, because we're very close to cowboy country here, are we not? The rolling hills out behind. Here we're in North Dakota.
We are. Lots of famous North Dakotans have also been ranchers. In fact, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Theodore Roosevelt, before he became the president, had 2 ranches in the Badlands out here in North Dakota, and he credits the fact that he lived here for being the president. And if you have a chance to go to the capital of North Dakota, the actual buildings that are the government buildings, you can read some interesting history about North Dakota. Did you know that?
Aren't you a font of information today?
I have a tremendous source.
Somebody handed you
a
few notes, I'm
Kevin
guessing.
Pratt hands me everything.
It's going out.
Let it die.
No.
Let it die.
I don't want to hit and roll here.
Let it die. All right, not bad.
Well, there's the Orion configuration right there.
Normal stick out.
Does that not look like the belt you see in the sky?
Not particularly, but I will give you credit for your efforts. And Austria will try to take your astronomy course away by driving that top one straight back in the 4-foot and removing both stones.
Yep. Please.
Gets 1, gets 2.
Gets 2.
Very
That's
nice.
not very shabby at all, is it? So both Canadian stones out of the house.
Hits this absolutely perfectly. That's a long way to make the double and to roll out, but not a problem. This Austrian team is showing that they've got a lot of determination to do well.
Or you want to just come around it?
No, the tap is good.
You like the tap?
Canada does not have last rock, and that stone at the back of the house is definitely on, and it belongs to Austria. But the odds of hitting and sticking back there when they can see only about half are pretty remote. And so they feel that the best defense sometimes is a good offense, and trying to tap one of those stones back or to get around.
Line's good. Clean. Yep. Yep. Hard.
8, 7.
Hard. Whoa, right.
Tapping the yellow Canadian stone back, a little offline.
It's a pretty tight spot. Randy Ferbey mad at himself. He just lost that a little bit by waiting to see the break. And by the time you see that break, it's too late.
Yeah, he's got to anticipate
that.
Though.
He's still thinking about his straight one.
Yeah.
Hit and roll chance here for the team from Austria to get behind that guard.
Another banker on our broadcast today. We watched Switzerland with bankers on board. Here's an Austrian banker, Stefan Salinger.
Oh, great rushing to get it by.
Nudging the yellow Canadian stone out, and the shooter rolls out as well. Canadian stone at the back hangs on.
It's tight all the way on that one. Great brushing to get it by the front, but you can see it kept curling and just caught a piece of the Canadian stone. Not enough, though, to remove it from play or to remove it from being shot. Canada does lie one.
That's why I'm not helping you pull a rock.
Maybe this is when we play that out turn. So does this. Wow,
No, nail this.
Final stone for Randy Ferbey, throwing third rocks.
He is an operations manager at Tartan Rentals.
6-5. Okay, line's good. Close.
3 children, Cody, Spencer, and Taylor.
7, 8.
A back-to-back Briar winner.
Yep. Hard.
He's done that twice.
Hurry.
Ottawa and Calgary.
I don't know, should have let it rub, I guess.
And prior to that with Pat Ryan.
Okay.
A little deeper than they would have hoped.
Not enough ice, I guess. A little too much weight.
Ferbey winning
is
is Pat Ryan's third in 88 and 89.
Frustration for Randy. They talked about maybe I should have let it rub. What David means is that if the sweepers had gotten off of that stone, it's going to hit about a third of the Yellowstone. And because those Yellowstones in front of the house are so close, what it would have done is promoted one of those rocks in, and they would have been in front of the tee line and not back.
Not quite by the yellow guards in front.
Wait. Da hinten die Hose und alles verliere ich schon langsam.
Yeah, not much room to get around the rocks in front.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't load it up on this.
So what do you want to do? You want to play the out turn?
I don't know. Out turn through the hole. Or...
And even if we don't get to the nose, it rubs off.
Well, I guess you're not going to roll very far.
No, because
he's playing that race.
Yeah, but we can even do it this way, off of here and back.
You could split this one if you're tight. If you're not, you go to the back and.
If it's wide, we make that split, or oh, you're saying this way?
Yeah, either or. You get her by to right here, you're good. If line's good, we bring it right in. If we're tight, we split it in anyway.
Well, split's no good.
He's just tapping that one back.
And he's got the whole path here to draw.
It's opening him up.
Yeah.
So.
Either we play that straight back, or
you don't want a straight back's not bad. It takes this away.
Well, that's what I think. And then we have the run back also for your next one or something.
I don't mind that.
Try straight back?
Okay, let's try it. Well.
Straight bumped here.
Oh, which one? I thought we were running the center one back. Tap
like that?
Center one.
That one?
Which one were you saying? That one?
Here.
Split's no good because it opens.
Can we get enough? It'll curl enough there?
It'll finish.
We were talking about 2 different taps. I was talking about the center one. Either way.
You only have to hit half a rock here with 5 weight.
Well, they discuss it here over on sheet C, 6th end. Finland and Sweden even at 2. And the final stone from the finish.
What do you like?
Skip.
I like that one.
Usi Pavel Niemi.
Nimi.
There you go. That'll count 3 red rocks. So Finland takes control with a 5-2 advantage on Sweden.
Whoa. 8. No.
It's a big 3 points in that game. That game has been very, they almost have a pattern. Conservative, conservative, go nuts. Conservative, conservative, go nuts. And when they play conservatives, they're getting a lot of blanks. And when they go nuts, whoever has last rock and is gambling really hard tends to score 2. And so to give up 3, you don't want to be doing that in a game like that.
There's the situation on Sheedy, Austria, Canada.
Things not going particularly well for David himself today. Austria in a position that they can draw to lie 2 with last rock.
And here's the first stone for Kreidl of Austria.
Ja, geht schon. Geht schon. Peace. Länge hat er, ja. Ja, peace.
Just nudges that yellow stone in front belonging to Canada. And slides to the back of the 4.
Ja, das zieht wieder. 24,5. Ah, schade.
Ja, kommt so viel Start
Ja,
zum Schluss, gell?
Jetzt sagst du da draußen noch, kann man es der. Linke, von der Linke her braucht das auch nicht.
Is that the best plan?
11. 10, 11.
Pretty much is. Canada does not want to give up 2. They can see enough of the rock in the 4-foot that David can throw easy kind of hack to bumper weight, tap that stone out, stick around, force Austria to make a good shot for their deuce.
David Nedelin, a geo-environmental engineer at A.D. Williams Engineering.
Wife Heather, a former junior world champion, former Canadian Scott Tournament of Hearts champion with
Marty.
King.
Marty,
Yep, I can't. Hurry.
A jam on that yellow stone at the back, belonging to Canada.
That was huge that they were able to sweep that stone at the back of the house. Otherwise, the shot would have been for 3.
Not a happy Canadian team at this point.
To give credit where it's due, the front end is playing extremely well. I think Randy himself is also playing well. David's just had a bit of a struggle today so far. And I think that we'll probably see that on the numbers when we show you them after 5.
This will be interesting to see what this does.
I think this is going to curl hard.
I think it's going to curl hard, too.
This is a tough shot for 2.
Final stone for Austria here in 5. Opportunity is there for this first-year team from Kitzbühel.
It is made.
So count them up. Austria giving Canada all it can handle. 4-3 Austria as we head to the 5th end break. And here are the players head-to-head today. Werner Vonker from Austria, Marcel Rock from Canada, Andreas Utenberger. Austria, Scott Pfeiffer, the 2nd for Canada. The 3rds, Stéphane Saint-Léger, and Randy Ferbey, and Eloise Kreidl, and David Nedelin throwing the final stones for their respective teams.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you by Nokia, proud sponsor of the Nokia Briar, by Karcher, quality cleaning equipment, and by Ford. Ford of Canada supports the love of the sport and the drive to achieve.
Let's run down the scores as we have them thus far. Denmark leading Norway. It's 5-2 for Erik Schmitz. For fourth there, it's Switzerland and Scotland. 5-2. Finland leading Sweden after a big 3. The USA has a 3-2 advantage on Japan. That's Paul Pustovar from the United States. And we're a little shocked, well, at least surprised, Kathy, when you look at a 4-3 score and another 2 for Austria. That's the Civic Center in Bismarck, North Dakota. We're here for the 2002 Ford World Curling Championships. Welcome back. After 5 is brought to you by True Value. The numbers could be interesting, Kath.
They're not as interesting as I think they should be, and I'm going to be interested to see the percentages that we get from the official statisticians. This is the number that is surprising me. Overall, this does not. I think that the Canadians have made a lot more shots, but the hit percentages, I haven't seen a whole lot of wide open misses or hits and rolls out by the Austrian team, and there have been some great shots by the skip, Alois Kreidl. That number to me is a little bit low. I think that that number should be closer to 70. That would put the team percentage up as well. There is too much of a balance on those percentages to indicate the game that we're playing.
Surprising on the scoreboard, however, another 2 for Austria in 5, and there's the advantage. 4-3. Austria leading Canada halfway home. At the break, we heard the Canadian team chatting down there and wondering about this game, thinking back to the Briar and the opening game at the Briar, where as Alberta, Randy Ferbey and company had a very tough day.
A lot of room
on opening day.
4 or 5.
At least the opening draw.
And then bounce back. And I talked earlier about our statistician Kevin Pratt giving me some information. He has let me know that the statisticians have scored Alois Kreidl at 55% so far in this game, and I need to say I completely disagree. I'm not doing my own stats here, but this gentleman, this skip, has made a lot of shots. He has made some really, really big shots, and even when he has not made the exact shot, like the double in the fourth end, what he did do is move the rock enough that Canada only had a chance for 4. He would never score that as a 2. And so stats are great tools, but there is always, you know, different people score things different ways. And I think that it's not so much been about the Canadian to me. The story today is the play of the Austrian skip.
Well, now that you've said that, are you happy?
Yes, I am.
Feeling a little bit better?
I am. I don't think that he deserves 55%. The Canadian team is not playing that poorly, as much as they're facing some pretty tough shots. And those shots are being made mostly by the skip.
Sheet D, 6th end, the United States with the advantage. 3-2 on Japan. And the hammer belongs to the USA's Paul Pustovar.
9.
Firing Redstones. Opportunity here in 6
Wait if you can.
for the United States.
7. Coming down. 7.
By itself.
7. 6. 6.
Still room, still room.
They have room.
Whoa.
Can they squeeze it home? Too close to call or not?
Good throw.
We'll take a good look at it.
Well, they'll count 2. 5-2 is the score there. You're up to date. Sheet D right next door. Canada, Austria on E.
And back here, Marcel Rock making 2 really good shots. Again, he has played very well, and he does everything very well. He sweeps really well, and he is the guy on this team. We listened in at the 5th end break, and he's the guy that's keeping them loose, keeping them laughing, and very supportive in everything that he does to keep David's confidence level up in a game that David is struggling with a little bit.
Here, Andy.
Finland with red stones, leading Sweden 5-2. Seventh end. Sweden has the hammer.
Trying to score one.
Per Carlson.
Needs to get full four, even a bite of the forward button.
This might be a little too much as they watch it all the way. So there's one, a steal of one for Finland's Markku Jussi-Pavel Niemi.
Scott Pfeiffer making that shot,
like
rolling away.
What's that? Every end?
3 rock.
Oh, yeah.
We're watching the second draw of 4 today on day 1 at the 2002 World Championships in Bismarck. Canadian teams back in action later today. We'll have those draws for you as well with Vic Rutter, Ray Turnbull, and Linda Moore.
All teams
Colleen
play.
Jones, sorry, Kath, Colleen Jones will play Sweden.
Yes. All teams do play 2 games this first day, and then from here on in, you play 2 games one day, 1 the next, 2 and 1. So essentially you have a bye every second day.
Clean.
Pace gets a little bit easier.
Go. Bumper.
Come on, Carl.
There are 10 teams, that's why we have the 5 sheets, and so you have 9 games before you have completed the round robin.
Good throw. Yeah.
Nej, här kling, Stefan.
The Austrian third, Stefan Salinger.
Because that rock in the forefoot is higher, meaning up tighter to the top of the house than the other stone, any play on the outside could result in a double, or at a minimum a hit and roll for the team from Austria. Just to the nose.
Shot stone belonging to Austria in the 4. Not surprising when you look at the scoreboard here that
Yeah, 11 up.
this is the first time that Austria has led a Canadian team at the World Championships. Of course, there was the early lead for Austria in the first end and the second end at 2-0, but now Austria has bounced back to take the lead by a point 4-3 as we play 6 here.
No.
Now, the Austrians have only competed in the World Championship on 2 other occasions.
Okay.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
Stefan Söderling.
Final stone for the Austrian third, Stefan
Linge.
Salinger.
Face. Get you. Aus. Yo. Face. Face. Get you.
Canada will have last rock here in 6 after giving up 2 and 5.
Face.
Gets the hit and roll, rolls a little too far.
자꾸 왜 나왔어?
Previous meetings, only twice, of course, Canada's played Austria. First time in 1983, the representative for Canada was Ontario's Ed Werenek. That was an 11-3 victory for the Werenek team. And the second time in 1984, it was Mike Riley from Manitoba who met up with the Austrians, and that was a 9-2 game. So very lopsided. This game, though, very different from those.
Absolutely.
Sit.
Out of those.
They wanted that to sit a little more quickly, but the Yellowstone for Canada is shot, and second shot, obviously, The other Yellowstone just to the left of that as we
down every time
look straight down.
Yeah.
Good throw.
That outturn's not cutting as like it was there.
No. No, it's not.
Colleen talked about the tricky ice this morning.
No, well, for them it does. It's kind of just...
Let's see what this does.
Nix.
Aus. Aus.
Aus, ganz weg.
Canada with last rock here. This is the first stone from the Austrian skip, Eloise Kreidl.
Ooh, just hangs around.
Yellowstone just out of your picture there.
Oh, yeah.
He's biting the 12 at the back and definitely in the rings.
That's the same spot that David Netta went through in the second end, that when they wound up stealing a point, they being Austria. It just ran very straight. Same thing happened just
Did you
there.
get some of these scratches along here?
Okay.
Chance for Canada to lie 3.
We have to talk to someone about that.
All-star in 2002 at the Brier, the most valuable player in 2001. Dave Nedelin.
No!
Both wins for Alberta, meaning trips to the World Championship. There's the shots. Canada lies 3.
He's having a hard time being perfect today.
Big, okay.
Yeah, that was normal.
Normal, yeah.
I'd really hoped to roll towards the center, spread those stones out so that there would not be any double chance.
But
You heard Randy Ferbey just say it'd be pretty tough to miss this double. David Nedelin at 66%. It's been a long time since we've seen him shoot in that area.
Yeah. Aus. Hey, aus.
Austria looking to kill 2, and the shooter hangs around.
Bisschen besser ist er. Geht Pfeicher durch, ja. Pfeicher auch geht hoch, gell?
Ja.
Das ist der
So those 2 Yellowstones gone, meaning that there's only an opportunity for the deuce here for Canada with final rock. David Nedelin in the hack.
You can see the little ice that they're taking, very, very straight out there.
Clean. Clean. Whoa. Clean. No. Yep. No.
Nedelin's final shot for Canada. The opportunity for 2 and for the lead. No problem with that one whatsoever.
Oh boy.
So the 2 picked up by Austria in 5. A 2 picked up by Canada. Here in the 6th end, it's 5-4 as we head to 7.
Still from Dick.
For exceptional moments.
At True Value, we know places in Canada where kids are encouraged to throw rocks at houses, and we even like to give them a little help. That's why we applaud and support all the Canadians who coach, instruct, and organize events, from the grassroots amateur level all the way up to the national championships. True Value is proud to be the official hardware supplier to curling's Season of Champions, and future champs too. True Value, around the corner from your house.
Welcome back. Let's update one other game here. It's Norway and Denmark, with Denmark in the lead. This is the reigning Olympic champion, Paul Trulsen of Norway, with an opportunity for a multiple score here, shooting red stones.
A huge chance to score 3 and tie this game, put them back in.
And 3 will not be counted, but 2 will, so it's a 1-pointer over on sheet A. Denmark continues to lead. It's 5-4 over there.
Well, I guess it's our rule now. Woohoo!
Our feature game, Canada versus Austria. It's 5-4 Canada after Randy Ferbey picked up his deuce in 6.
I've got less for sure, so. Get a 2. Yep. Yep.
Shot.
They're eating time stone. There we go.
Why were they?
Because you walked.
The Austrian lead.
Ja, Feast! Feast, catch up! Feast! 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 Feast!
Couldn't get it by the yellow Canada center guard.
Okay, Scott.
That guard by Marcel, nice and tight, halfway there. Chance for Scott to get around that. That's the play.
Looking in at sheet B, this is live. Chance for
7,
a couple for Switzerland here, with Scotland leading 5-4. In
Trying
the
to
8th.
take a good look. I don't think either team is very confident about who, in fact, is shot. Scotland is yellow.
Oh.
Yeah, very close.
See the great draw on the top half of the picture there. That's the Canadian stone, just thrown by Scott Pfeiffer. While Scotland and Switzerland try to figure out, mostly Switzerland because they're going to throw.
That's right.
What they're doing.
Red or yellow? And the decision is up to you, Kathy. What do you think?
It looks like yellow from this overhead angle.
I'll mark that down.
Alrighty then. And for Switzerland, the choice that they're making is to draw. It's a very high-risk shot to play the hit out there, and if you roll out, you're only scoring 1, so you draw and you measure for your second point. Ensure that you at least tie this game in the 8th end.
Back on E, the Austria stone. Slides all the way through.
Don't like the same turn on this?
So in the 8th end, here comes the final stone for Switzerland.
Touch less.
Trailing 5-4 to Scotland.
7, 6. Whoa.
7.
Patrick Hurleman of Switzerland.
6, 5.
Whoa. Where's line? 4. No line.
5, 6. Rub off.
P-line.
Hot.
Redirect. Gonna measure?
Oh, yes.
All right.
1 for sure.
There's 1. And Kathy thinks yellow, which would mean it's only 1.
And back in the top, you saw a little bit of indecision. Rather than play the same out turn twice, Randy Ferbey chose to have Scott come in with the in turn. The rock did not move very much. That's the straight spot right up the middle. And a chance for Austria to get to that stone.
Here's Andreas Unterberger. for Austria.
There's the measure in the bottom left-hand side of your televisions as you watch on.
Good.
Shot made by Austria on sheet E, 7th end there. And the more pressing matter right now is yellow or red in the game Switzerland-Scotland.
Weren't able to see the measure. I was wrong.
I was wondering why you were giving me the touchdown signal there. So there you go.
So 2. And the lead for the Swiss team, Patrick Hurleman.
So I marked that down. You had yellow there, so.
Oh, I'm sure you'll remind me without writing it down.
Oh, right off.
Randy Ferbey for Canada.
Really wants to roll away from that hole. And does. Nice shot.
So Canada lies 2.
Dumped it a little, but. Jumped it a little, sorry. But I didn't see any back in it.
Sheet D, 7th end, the United States leading Japan 5-2. Here's an opportunity for Japan, trailing by 3, last rock.
And it is, as you can see, a draw to the 8-foot for 2 points to go within 1.
Whoa.
Ashwagi of Japan. Yellowstone. Yes. He'll count a couple, so it's close there. 2 at 5-4. In the feature game, this Austrian stone sails through the 4-foot.
Short's probably not the worst here. Does he have a double there?
He does, doesn't he?
Oh, this one's got to be there.
Canada not going to worry about that stone just thrown there by Austria, even though it is second. It is behind the tee line. The object, get around again.
Ferbey is all business, does not waste a whole bunch of time before making up his mind and taking his shot.
Let it curl, guys. Let it curl.
3-4. Line's better.
Yeah, line's good. Here we go. Hard now.
Hard.
Hard.
Real hard.
Marcel Rock, Scott Pfeiffer.
Hard.
The front end for this Canadian team.
Okay, good sweep.
Well swept. They're wondering if it picked up a little something out there.
Rub the guard.
Let's take a look. I'm not sure if this rock even touched the back half. Let's see if we can see.
That one's 6 inches.
Yes, it does. Just enough that it redirects it, but still with the great weight and the rotation on the stone, it continues to curl in that path.
Kind of skim by the...
Close. Yeah.
Once again, looking at angles, how to make contact. Can we make contact on this stone to make a play on this stone?
Spür Heckling, Stefan.
Their decision is to try to make a play on the stone that, in fact, well, I was going to say is more exposed, but neither of them really are wide open to him. He's got about a third of each, trying to play the redirect.
Stefan Salinger, the Austrian third.
Face, get you! Face! Get you! Face! Get you! Face!
Slides in to the 4, will be second shot.
Men nicht schnell habe ich mir nicht getraut. Ja. Weil echt, und das eine mit dem einen Doppel war so schon gegangen, aber wenn man gehabt jetzt nicht, war der wieder auf den gegangen. Aha. Ich habe da nicht getraut gehabt, aber das ist schon mal nicht schön. Auf den kommt man aber nicht drauf. Gut, Kopf.
Move it a little bit so we guard them both.
Seitdem nur geht nach Becks der Nähe. Und?
You want to just throw a guard and see if we can move that just to here?
I'd rather see him play it this way.
You don't see him throw the in-turn?
Yeah, because our 3 is...
Well, then why don't we just throw an out-turn guard? If we happen to sweep it and move that a hair, great.
Well, why don't we leave it in there where we can run it in? Again, here we go.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Throw it tight, and we'll run it in if he makes a good shot.
Even if you come around and just take that yellow over and...
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to make his shot easier.
But he's running our rock on both of them.
Well, why don't we just throw a 3 then tight on this side?
3-4. There's something right there, Scott, right off the 4-foot line.
Yeah, okay.
Down to Skip Stones.
Looking to protect the stone that's in the
1-7
4-foot.
or 7-1?
Would also take away any sort of tap that Austria would have on their own red stone.
Okay, 5-4. Canada has a narrow lead on Austria. Canada with 2 in the previous end. Austria's Eloise Kreidl picked up 2 in 5.
It's got something.
3.
First delivery.
4.
Here in 7 for Dave Nedelin.
They talked about taking the stone tight enough so it would be something that they could promote or hit on an angle. Then they've decided that really that's not the most important thing right now. It is about the line and protecting that yellow stone in the 4-foot. And nicely done.
And that will make it nearly impossible to get to that counting Canadian stone in the 4. Just inches better than the Austrian red.
Hier zit nej, hier. Zeker groot om, så jeg fandt det til.
Kind of pretty, yes.
Så det er spændende. Vi får en knop for bag i øjnene der med.
Eloise Kreidl, the Austrian skip. 2 rocks to come. Here in the 7th. He's ready to throw his first.
Yeah.
Made some pretty nice shots today, Kathy.
He really has.
Druck! Get you now! Fester! Fester! Get you, get you, get you, get you, get you! Get you now! Get you, Louis, hold!
Trying to get through the hole, trying to get by that long guard.
Won't make it.
See that he didn't have the weight for that shot, even if he were to get by.
Sag's das.
You're going to finish going?
Just touch the center line, basically.
Just biting the center line, Scott.
2 rocks to come. The final belonging to Austria.
I'll grab it. There's a big thread at the hog line.
This team from Kitzbühel has battled the Canadian champions, skipped by Randy Ferbey, all the way with 1 in the first, a steal in the second for a 2-0 lead. And until giving up 2 in the previous end, had the lead once more with 2 and 5.
For David, wants to block that hole. Not very much left for the Austrian team if he's able to take that away.
Clean it.
4. Well then.
Just keep cleaning.
Well then.
4 or 5.
Got to move. 4 now.
Whoa, it's 4 or 5.
3.
We need the center line at least. Whoa, that's pretty good. Whoa, attaboy.
Nice shot.
Good sweet.
Equidistant between the 2 stones in front. That hole effectively plugged.
Jetzt haben wir gute Möglichkeiten, sich drum. Er geht drauf, oder?
He does not have a lot.
Does he have anything?
Well, yeah, he does. I mean, he's got the driving that rock that we see closest to us straight back. and having red onto yellow, you hate to have to play your opponent's stone to promote them against your own, but none of his red stones, there's only 2 red guards in front, neither of those give him anything.
The angles aren't lined up very well on the red rocks in
Den
front.
haben wir wenig. Den haben wir wenig. Recht auf den.
And that's the yellow one that I was speaking of that he's looking at.
Well, you're talking yellow on the yellow on the red.
Ja, den da, den da hat. Ja,
den soll jetzt da haben.
Ja, den mal überholen.
Den ein bisschen aus dabei.
Ja.
Das ist keiner.
Here's what we're looking at. Yellow onto yellow. Yellow goes onto red. Red goes onto yellow. Yellow says goodbye.
How would you like to make this shot?
If you hit the top yellow one on the nose, essentially the shot is made. It is for 1, because the yellow one that the broom is right beside will be in the top of the forefoot. Unless he gets it absolutely perfect, there is a slim chance for 2. And it's really the only thing he does have.
Now, get more DVDs than ever before at Rogers Video.
I've always been a hands-on kind of guy. Now I keep busy to stay healthy. But when I've neglected my diet, I've depended on the science of Centrum daily for complete vitamin and mineral support. Centrum helps make my day complete.
I used to swim like a fish. Now I swim to stay healthy. But when I've neglected my diet, I've relied on the science of Centrum daily for complete vitamin and mineral support. Centrum helps make my day complete.
Here we are, back at the Ford Worlds for 2002. Civic Center, Bismarck, North Dakota. Somewhat surprising, as Austria has given Randy Ferbey a pretty good run for his 2-point advantage thus far. Austrians have made some nice shots to stay close to the Canadian champions.
The Australian team has played fairly well, but it has been the skip, Alois Kreidl, who has bailed his team out when they have faced 3 or 4 or multiple Canadian rocks. But you can only do that for so long, and we talked about the key for today being patience for the Canadians.
And I'm thinking the tide is definitely turning in the Canadians' favor.
That usually happens in really tight games. Once the wheels start to fall off, they go clunk, clunk pretty quick.
I wouldn't say it's been a struggle for the Canadian team, but it, as a team, hasn't played very well at this point.
Certainly
I mean,
not
let me
like
say
the Briar.
sharp. Yeah, they haven't been as sharp. They haven't been as crisp as
what we saw in Calgary.
Absolutely. Now, thinking back to that first game in Calgary against Russ Howard.
This is an improvement.
This is a little bit better with the lead. There was tough times against Howard in game 1 in Calgary. United States on sheet D against Japan. This is an opportunity for Paul Pastavar.
It's a big chance for Paul. He has a hit here for 3. It's not wide open. He has to just get to the inside.
Gets the hits. There's 1.
Yep. Out. Oh.
And they'll have to take a closer look. And here is the measurement after that. They'll say
red belongs to the United States.
Red, I do believe. Here you go.
Yellow, Japan.
So close. So 2 points for the USA. 7-4 leading Japan now. Back to our game. 6-4, Canada leading Austria.
Yep.
Scott Pfeiffer.
What? Sounds like a flash.
As well?
Yeah.
Two-time Briar champions, this team from the Otwell Curling Club in Edmonton. Canada has 26 world wins. In men's competition, the Richardsons won 4. Ron Northcott of Alberta won 3. And there's a group, including Duguid, Folk, Wernick, and Howard, with 2 victories each on the world stage.
For the Canadians now that they've got that 2-point edge, and with 3 ends, including the one that we're playing left to play, they will want to keep things very simple, very open. And by throwing the rocks in the house, Austria is making that a very easy type of game for the Canadians to play.
Final stone for Scott Pfeiffer. Canadian second here.
Yep.
In 8.
Hard. Real hard. Clean. One.
Shot.
Yeah. Shot.
Talked about this Canadian team maybe not being as sharp, but there's been nothing wrong with the play of the front end. Marcel Rock and Scott Pfeiffer.
Not at all. They have both played very, very well. Have really set up the ends for Randy and for David. I believe that was Huff.
You see, you've got me very confused as to which is which.
Puff is for Pfeiffer. Peace and P. There you go. Puff and Pfeiffer.
Out. Yo, get you.
Looking to play the freeze on that stone. It's at the back of the 8-foot. That was one of the reasons that Scott did not want to stick right there.
Well, on the center sheet, all over, handshakes all around. As Finland dominates
You can't see
Erik
much.
Karlsson of Sweden.
Almost half.
Yeah, just pick it.
Pick.
So you see Pavel Niemi has his first victory.
I'm not even trying with you anymore.
Can't see a whole pile of that.
I'll have you working on that name.
What do you like? Whatever you like. It's up to you.
Randy just trying to pick this stone out, does not want to stick around.
Real hard.
Clean.
Hard. Okay.
So 2 in play. Shot rock belongs to Austria. Redstone in the 4, or at least halfway in the 4.
Austria looking to protect this stone by playing a guard on that stone, if you will, but by being in the house. With last rock, he'd love to set this up to score 2.
Canada with a steal of 1 in 7. So Austria has the hammer here in 8.
Noch weit, Mann, dass es weitergeht. Get you. Too bad.
Not a lot of time to make the decision. One of the options would be to remove that guard that's tight to the house if you wanted to play conservatively and potentially give up 2 if all the shots are made by the Austrian team. Canada does not tend to play that way in men's. We tend to see most of the men's teams that have represented our country play relatively aggressively, and this team no exception. Randy Ferbey playing around that guard onto the stone that's at the back of the 4.
Lots of room.
7.
Lots. Line's good. Line's good.
Hard now.
Get it here. Hard. Get it here.
Hard.
Oh, that's far enough. That's far enough.
There you go. Almost on the pin.
Good throw.
I think I got finally a good handle on this draw weight. It's 2 draws in a row, I threw the right weight. Yeah. And I thought I threw the right weight, even though they said I didn't.
On what?
My draw last time where I took the guard, kind of just touched it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't mind you throwing the big weight on your first shot because you haven't really thrown many of them, so get a feel for it.
Yeah.
Yep. Länge.
Austrian third, Stefan Salinger.
Aus, immer Länge.
Aus, ist weit weg,
Canada with a shot stone, almost on the pin.
Had hoped to get better line at it, wanted to get to the inside and push that stone back. Instead, he's made it much worse for himself.
I would say.
This here.
Okay, well, throw an 11.
Throw 11 up.
Don't go. I don't think it's going the center line.
I don't think it's going to move much. Okay.
You like snow.
And roll right there.
$11. I think you guys can hold it, eh?
David Nedelin's first stone. Here in 8.
Whoa. Just 11. Just 11.
Clean. Close.
Clean.
Close. Yep. Whoa.
Yes. Hard.
Hard.
Real hard. Hard. No roll.
They wanted it to sit a little more quickly, but Canada lies 2 without here in 8. Nedelin, an outstanding athlete, away from the curling ice on his bare feet.
Oh, that's closer than I've been.
He's a world champion, barefoot water skier.
I think just use the sweeping more like we did there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We were throwing 11s and expecting everything to curl.
Another one of those great curlers born in Winnipeg.
You can see the frustration for David, and here's why. He's almost set up a little bit of a pocket. Makes it easier for the Austrian team to not only get a stone in there, but more difficult than for Canada to make a play against that stone.
Fist! Ganze Weg, Mann, Fist! Braucht's! Geht schon!
Alois wanting to make sure maximum, and so he's up there sweeping his own stone. But even that will not help.
Lines up right in front of his other guard. So 2 rocks to come here in 8. Canada with a 2-point lead.
Well, why don't we just weld one on here? What has he got then?
He'll always have the intern. But he's got to be careful.
Well, not if we're covering that.
Okay.
That's the shot that they left. Alois Kreidl, he didn't make it. He threw the guard. And so David needs to beat him there because that's the easiest way to score 1. If they're able to put it there, it will leave probably the RD of Ford for Alois on his last shot, but he's going to have to make that.
Weld it on, even if it comes off our own a little bit, eh? Doesn't hurt us anyway.
Okay, bud.
Final stone for Canada's David Nedelin. 1 to come for Austria's
clean.
Alois Kreidl.
7. Rope.
8.
7.
No line.
No line at all. Let it curl. It's got to curl.
6.
8th end in a 2-point game.
It's out there. Okay, go now. Yep, hard now.
Hard now. Hurry.
Hard goes. Hard.
Hurry.
We're there.
Trying to weld this right on to that yellow stone.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Right about there.
You know what else we could have played?
Is that some weight in set 4?
No.
What?
Try to split in the guard.
Oh. Actually, he's got a pretty easy one now. So just back that up.
Well,
here, I think,
it's just that, yeah, just that this finishes all,
yeah.
that's why.
Well, it curled lots, but
yeah. But
what David's talking about when he backed it up a bit is that he felt that he threw the rock a little bit back, and as a result, he had perfect weight, but the rock didn't curl as much. Had he thrown it right at the stick, he feels it would have been moved over onto the FO, which would have left the RD as the only option.
Stands right now. You can lead.
Now, get 2-day rentals on all new releases at Rogers Video.
Time for the key shot thus far, brought to you by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in
It's a great opportunity for Scott Cassidy. He was optioned to trip.
Put pressure on the skip, who has made a lot of shots.
Okay, go now. Step.
Wants to get to the Ford logo as much as he can. Needs to be in the forefoot.
We're there.
And he is.
That's
Makes this great draw. That forces Alois to have to draw to the lid. Shot that he does not make. Canada steals 3, and it's a 9-4 game, playing 9.
Cross face.
Yeah.
Center line.
Marcel Rock. The Canada lead.
10. Close, clean. 10. Yep. Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep. Hard. Hard. Real hard.
Trying to play this tick shot.
They said they wanted to practice that. And with a 5-point lead, now
Nicely
good a time
done.
as any.
Good shot, Marty.
That's a great shot. He has had one heck of a game. And there are the numbers to prove it. 94%. Those are huge numbers. His opponent struggling a little bit at 64%, but Marcel for sure has been playing at the top of his game.
The Austrian lead. Werner Vonker.
Long. Na, lang ist er. Aus. Da geht schon ein bisschen. Aus. Good.
And so this game that was close pretty much all day, now with a 5-point difference, this is where the Canadians start to really accelerate. And for the Austrians,
pretty thin.
Really need to throw some rocks out front and hope to steal. Take 3, steal 2, take 2, steal 3. Tough road to hoe for sure.
Steal of 1 for Canada in 7, then a steal of 3 in 8. And that's
real hard.
Pretty well explaining the advantage at 9-4 for Canada. Flying 1 right now. Yellowstone, half in the 4. Andreas Unterberger.
Yep. Länge. Aus. Aus.
Trying to use that stone coming into play, biting the top of the house almost as a corner guard and get behind it.
Here's how the seconds
He's throwing
stack
a guard.
up.
Wow.
Harrison's brought to you by Nokia.
We've talked about how well the Canadian front end has played. 93, 95%. Look at the numbers. Doesn't matter what you give Scott, he's going to make it today. Again, his opponent not playing particularly strong at 61%. He's been sort of half-half, but kudos to the front end from Team Canada. And as soon as you say that,
all right. Didn't do anything.
Just a little overthrown, probably for the ice that he was given. It's just not going to move at all with any sort of weight, and that was huge.
How was Ling? I don't think I've ever seen.
Well, it's nice that we put up the comparisons and the percentages before that shot. Because that will change a very impressive number, at least slightly there. On average at 95%.
Yep. Peace. Peace, mate. Get you.
Chance for two developing very quickly with that shot by Scott, or rather the miscue by Scott. Trying to draw down to the stone that's in the back of the forefoot that belongs to Canada. You can see them losing line on this shot, but nonetheless still in play.
Send it in.
For Randy Ferbey, if he's able to hit this stone on the outside at all, multiple ways to get that rock out of there. Get rid of both of them. And lie two.
Austria with last rock advantage here as Ferbey throws his first.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Nothing needed on this. Just missed getting that second red stone as well.
Again, we've seen the Canadian team this end just picking up their weight a little bit, and that's why they're running straighter. Again, once more, a huge advantage to the Canadian team. We've seen 20% or better at the lead at the second, and at the third position, certainly Randy out shooting his opponent, Stefan Salinger, by a considerable amount.
And here is Salinger. His first stone in 9.
No, hij lijkt.
Reduced opportunity is a chance there to lie potentially 3. By rolling out, it gives Randy Ferbey and the Canadian team a chance for the double and really put Austria out of this end.
Yep. Whoa.
Ferbey for 2. 1. Not this time.
Slowly, though, they are eliminating.
Actually, your first one, I thought you threw pretty good.
Yeah.
Just didn't move. I thought it would a little bit.
Austria splitting the house, or attempting to split the house, and lie 2.
And this is the final stone for Salinger.
Länge. Oh. Raus.
Rechte her, wenn es geht.
Ja, geht schon. Jetzt geht's.
This game relatively close until Ferbey got his 3 and 8 on a steal. Here's how the skips stack up, brought to you by Nokia.
We've talked to you about the numbers earlier for David after 5. He was at 66%. So what we're seeing is that David is coming into his own in this game and starting to play better. These numbers are probably lower than they should be. We talked about the first 5 in which Alois made a ton of shots, made some big saves, some really good shots. He was only scored at 50%. Since that 5, though, he's had a tougher go at it and just not been able to pull them out. And of course, that huge draw on the last end, just a little bit heavy, and gave up 3.
David Nedelin's first stone in 9.
Hey, come
Pfeiffer and Rock. 1 gone.
Shot, Dave.
Just came off you, man.
Should be a double now. If he hits it on the nose.
Oh, yeah.
A bit of a difference in time remaining for Austria, about 10 minutes and 20 seconds. And for Canada, 14.5 minutes. And the clock is running on the Austrians here.
Lots of time for both, though, with only a couple of rocks left to come this end and the completion of next end. And both teams have played very quickly, considering the number of rocks that we've had in play in this game. So for David, the objective is to hit and stick, and the most he will do is give up 2.
I want to clean because it's snow.
And be up 3 with last rock coming home.
Yep.
And that's a very comfortable position, without question.
You bet.
Oh, so easy.
Nedelin's final stone
Clean.
in 9.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Clean.
Off, off, off.
What? Nice throw, Dave.
So there's the chance for 2 with the final stone still to come from Austria's Eloise Kreidl.
I think starting to figure this out. Even easy weight, just a little sweeping and it runs dead straight.
Especially out in the wings.
Yeah.
Especially out there.
You can hear the confidence in David's voice. It's really difficult as a skip or any player when you're throwing a rock where you just don't feel comfortable with the ice, which was clearly the case early. David's just saying to Randy, now he's
value around the corner from your house.
The 2002 Ford World Curling Championships on TSN are brought to you in part by Husky and Mohawk, leaders in fuel, food, and convenience. By JVC, excite your senses. And by Whirlpool Home Appliances, proudly supporting extraordinary Canadian women athletes and everyday champions across the country.
We're winding down here on draw number 2. Sheet A is now final. Norway and Denmark, with Ulrich Schmidt defeating the Olympic champion Paul Truelsen 9-5. So Truelsen losing there. And the United States in a close game with Japan, winning it 8-5. There's your final. Paul Pustavar coming up with his first victory. So 1 game still in progress. Canada has the advantage, coming home 9-6.
Well, now.
Okay.
Randy.
Picking it.
You just go around, otherwise you give him 2 corners.
What doesn't matter now?
Okay. Well, we got the hammer anyway, so it doesn't matter. You're right.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Up by 3.
11.
Last rock coming home. Very comfortable for this Canadian team from the Otwell and Edmonton.
Touch more.
Yep.
Marcel Rock.
Real hard.
Hard.
trying to make the pick shot.
Hard.
Something that might come in handy as the week wears on.
Oh, his percentage go down.
I don't know.
And there's the danger, right? Because you're just trying to get a very little piece of that rock to move it with the 4 rock rule.
I actually think that that's a better shot than the one that they called. The last thing that they need is a whole bunch of rocks in play. And if you do play the pick shot, you wind up with 2 corner guards. It's not really a problem for Team Canada had he made it, because they would have last rock advantage. Having said that, with only 1 rock in play, that's what you want, is as few rocks as possible. And from here on in, they'll be able to hit at the rocks.
Wow. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Face! Wenn man so weit auseinander geht, geht schon fest. Das ist auch so viel.
Tall order for Austria now. In spite of some moments for the highlight reel when they look back on this game against Canada.
In the Canadian rule, we'd come around partially around. And then it's the end, right? That's how we play. Whoa! Yep! Hard! Real hard! Hard! Oh, okay.
Looked like Scott Pfeiffer might have had his sweepers caught napping a little bit there. He was in the hack and fired it.
Goes, holy
all of a sudden, Nedelin and Rock looked up and had to chase it a bit. Canada will take on Sweden in the second men's draw coming up tonight. And Colleen Jones also meets the Swedish team in the next draw coming up with Vic Ryder, Ray Turnbull, Linda Moore.
Get your face.
So a very busy day. All 4 draws on day 1 here at the 2002 Worlds.
Face. Out, out.
Playing the raise behind the Canadian stone and successful in doing so. Once again, it's about elimination.
Quarter rock.
Quarter gets both of the guards in front of the house.
Whoa.
All right.
Only gets 1, replaces the red stone with his own, but again, it's about getting rid of at least 1.
3 up coming home. That's the story for Canada. And hope all but faded for Austria.
Ja, get you. Peace. Peace, get you. Peace.
Austria will continue to throw guards in front of the house until they mathematically need to get them in, or at least that was the call initially, but slid a little bit deep.
You feel that. They end up sitting 3 in the last rock, and I hit any of them.
Don't like running yellow in? That's what it is. Yeah. At least it'll be wide open. You're going to nail this, I think.
Canada's other team, Colleen Jones, scoring an 8-4 win in the opening draw. Bright and early this morning, 7:30 local time. That was over Switzerland, and Sweden is the opponent for Jones. Coming up next.
Clean.
Canada eliminating the guard. That's the only rock that poses any potential threat to them. And catches one of the Austrian stones as well.
So 1 rock in the rings. Halfway in the 12. And the red stone belonging to Austria. Shot rock in the 4.
Couldn't resist. Good shot.
Canadian team made the shots when it counted.
Yep. Peace. Get your peace. Peace. Længe aus. Nå længe. Så kommer så helt guns.
Ja, det er leit.
Længe har det. Men det er så sjø.
Was trying to just sit corner frozen on that Yellowstone so that Canada couldn't necessarily drive it back and remove all of the stones from play. For Randy Ferbey, it's about getting rid of another red stone.
And simply running Austria out of rocks here in 10. That is all but accomplished.
Clean. Yep, a little bit. Oh, oh.
This is a fastball.
Snowmobiling there.
Nice shot.
So for the Austrian skip, needs to throw this stone in the house. He currently lies 1, but with a 3-point deficit and only 2 to come, both of them need to be in the house. And for David Nedelin, eliminating 1.
And it's over.
Would be the trick.
Warte mal lang.
Aus, der hat gleich lang.
Eloise Kreidl had the early lead on Canada with 1 in the first, a steal in the second. It was 2-0. And Austria also scored a deuce in 5 for a 4-3 advantage. But this Canadian team proved just a little bit too tough.
Du musst mitgeben. Das ist weniger. Ja, kurz viel, gell?
Ja.
Dann steht da nicht auf Zeit, aber so.
David will probably throw pretty big weight on this shot. Just wants to pick this stone out.
Well, we'll get one of the two then for sure.
Yeah, the back one.
If he gets half of it, he probably gets both.
If I hit on the side, I get the front one. Maybe probably get them both if I hit right.
There are options here for Canada. Nothing is guaranteed, of course, but this is about as sure as it gets that
Clean.
David Nedelin will remove 1 of the red stones belonging to Austria. Well,
he was back.
As I said, nothing is a sure thing. Can you believe that? I mean, just for the fun of the whole day.
Oh, jeez. Try and make it interesting.
He had an opportunity
Did that have no
to hit one or the other just by being in the area.
Yeah. Interesting stabs again. It's okay. Make the next one.
And that is the story. Make the next one, David. So Austria, who never thought they'd be in the position of even throwing their second stone, is now throwing another rock in the house and then saying to David, let's see what you can do with that.
Rather interesting indeed. Just as I suggested, there was no chance he would miss. Even 1 in a million. So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, there's always a chance. There's no question about this now that Austria's got what looks to be good weight here. He's lying 3 in the house. He needs 3 to tie.
And
that's on the board.
Count them 1, 2, 3. But Nedelin has 1 rock remaining.
Make something go away.
And we thought he would with that last shot. No hesitation at all.
Clean.
Either it's over or we're heading for an extra end, somewhat surprisingly.
It is over.
It is all over.
Good game.
Grab 2 that time, erasing those stones.
Good game. Good game.
From Austria's column.
The world's greatest golfer. The game's supreme setting. And infinite subplots. It's the magic of the Masters at Augusta. Live coverage begins Thursday on TSN.
Here's one final update to wrap things up for the afternoon. The game on Sheet B, Switzerland versus Scotland. Patrick Hurleman against Warwick Smith. And here's the final stone for the Scottish skip.
And the Scottish team is trailing by 1, and so the decision is to play the double. Score 2 for the win.
There you go. 1-2 removed. And what a way to win a game. Scotland 7-6 over Switzerland. Bada boom, bada bing. That wraps up the afternoon. Canada wins both games today. Colleen Jones this morning, Randy Ferbey moments ago. Colleen is on again. It's Canada versus Sweden coming up. The next draw, 4:30 local time.